Hi everyone, welcome back. And for our next talk, we are going to jump on the other side of the Atlantic to meet Jônatas Paganini. And he's a team leader at Toptal with more than 10 years of experience in home office, a cycle tourist, the non-quarantine weekends, that is. He loves working from home and have cycle adventures with his 8 years old son. As a leader, he is engaged in supporting newcomers to onboard at his company and building a better process to allow them to learn and get engaged in their new positions. As a developer, he is very interested in code and data, and he is working and maintaining Fast, an open source Ruby library to build complex searches and to automate refactoring of Ruby code. So, welcome, Jônatas.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. I'm very happy to be here, and especially talking about one special topic for me, the topic of my career. So I am remote almost my entire developer life. I had 2 companies before, and I worked from home always. And during all this period, I just want to say that it's still the best way to work from, at least after you get into it. So I will be talking about onboarding developers. So just a small context to what's onboarding. So we know that onboarding is when we want to integrate someone into some topic, let's say a company or a product or something like that. And what full remote means, like full remote means no office, nowhere, like you can be everywhere. And that's a important thing here. So we are going to talk a lot about remote-driven decisions, like how people design process to be remote. So just to give you a bit of context, I am the team lead of the bootcamp team. So this is a team that welcome newcomers, and they pass a month in my team. So during this month, they just create a plan for working on what they need to learn. And that's what we are going to cover this, so about this plan and everything. So I am already in Toptal almost 4 years now, and I joined the company to work in onboarding. I was doing it previously in my previous company, in the previous company that I worked for. And basically, I felt like when I saw people just dropped in the office, they were a bit alone. Nobody was there to just embrace their needs. And then I started helping those people as just the buddy guy that can just, hey, sit here closer to me, let's work together. And then I built a team around it. We already had like a few mentors with me that were mentoring different areas like Q&A, front end, and so on. And the bootcamp team already onboarded a few hundreds of people, and every month I would say that I know at least a dozen more people that join it, and that's every month we are always hiring. So I'm also talking about only the Toptal core, as Toptal is a talent of network. So we have thousands of people in the network, and that's another topic. But I'm talking about the Toptal core team. And and then I was like there, and most part of the time I was working almost like as a lone team lead with no team. Like the team is composed of newcomers, and like my team is just passing to me, and then like nobody is really there. And then I was like, what's my legacy? So what I'm going to build here if I leave the company? Maybe this process will die. Maybe they will find other ways. So I start defining some onboarding guidelines. So I was thinking like I need to just to try to materialize my expertise here, what I do with the newcomers, what I live with them, and try to create like a framework that can empower even like other teams or other areas of the company to make the same. So let's start with why. So just a moment. The first thing is that if we create a process, we can scale it. We can hire more people. We can just make it bigger, and that's very important. So if we scale this, we can. And we also have this as a process to encourage autonomy. So if we just expose this is the process of you take over your autonomy, that will be great for everybody. People will feel part of it. And also it will allow us to create a special mentorship on demand. So we can just teach people the framework and they can help people that are joining on demand. So sometimes we have more people or less people joining, so we can vary the amount of mentors working on it, and they can also focus in their weakness. Let's say we have a person that joined with a specific weakness in some part that I am not covering because I'm not a good technical guy on that part, for example. So we can invite this person, we can present this process, and they can learn how we work, and they can do the same with the people. And another thing is that we can empower newcomers' expertise. So several times people join with a previous background that's amazing, like they know several things, they have a lot of expertise to share. And if we don't have a way to just put it, to empower these people to use this expertise, maybe they will forget about it. They will just focus in learning what we are promoting to them. They will not be really using their power there. And we also build this process to connect newcomers with the right people. So imagine a company with hundreds of people. You are not going to meet everybody, but you need to meet the right people. You need to meet the people that are strategic for you. And it's important because if you know people, you will make friends, you will retain people, you start making the employee more engaged, like they will like the company, they will like if they know more people, and that's very, very interesting when people starting getting happier and more excited because they know other people. Okay, so about the onboarding values, we are going to cover these 4 topics. So let's jump into self-onboarding. So we know that the nature of our work is asynchronous. So we are a remote-driven company, and as a remote-driven, we should think that we should design the process in a way that we allow people to do anything their time. So if they need to, let's say, install a tool, or if they need to just start working in a new project, they need to find information about this project, like they need to understand how they can install or what permissions they need to deploy it, and so on. So we need to design things in a way that we allow people to work asynchronous, because I work in some time zone in Brazil. I onboard most part of the people from Europe, Asia, and that's like 5 hours ahead of me. So I have like 3 or 4 hours overlap with those people during the day. So we need to have a lot of things that need to go synchronous. And another thing, like we need to proactively go through something. We are not going to take hands of people. People will just understand where they have the information, and they will start going for it. We are supposed to do everything in an easy way. Let's say, even if we have like complex projects, complex things, we need to have like maps and high level overview where people can easily find things. So we can collect these things in a single place, so people can easily find what they need to find and go through it. So and you need to know our values. Like if the person is joining, they will learn about our values and how we work with our tools. So learning how we work with our tools, they will understand our frameworks about how we organize projects, initiatives, everything. And then soon it will be easy to find whatever they want. And on-demand learning also means like you don't push everything in the first month. So it means like we should be cherry picking the right things that is like essential. It's crucial for them to know, and skip or postpone things that can be done later. So we just understand that we can overwhelm people very easily because, let's say, after you are used to several policies, that's okay, but you need some days to digest all these things. So this this is important. Like we are always trying to just move things out. Let's say, oh, this is really not the key thing for the newcomer to know. Like what they are going to understand from it. And if we can skip, we are going to skip or postpone it to the second or third month, or make it part of their career plan, for example. Another thing that is very, very important is make sure that people understand the big picture. So if you don't know the purpose of your area, your role, or your product, and how it fits in everything, like you are going to be demotivated. So, for example, the bootcamp team is very closer to some OKRs. Like we organize things with OKRs, and like I have a NPS score for engineering department, and this is Net Promoter Score, and we want to have it higher than ever. Like we always want to reach a new goal on this, and when you don't understand the big picture, you are probably not going to be so engaged. If you understand, for example, I understand how my team fits in the company and how it helps the company to make more money, to make more like a safe place to work, and that's what I pursue for. So I feel that my objective is integrated with the company objective and company vision. So that's very important. And we always say that it's better to rely on contextual learning and then just go deeper as you need on demand. And then if you use this concept of self-boarding, you are probably going to allow people to go deeper in what they need when they need. So that's like a good combination. And we have this continuous improvement that is 30 value. So we always say that we don't know the path, we don't know the background that people come from. And if they come from a different background, maybe then they can also teach us about onboarding, or they can see different issues that we don't see, or apply different ideas. So we always make it work. So we run retrospectives weekly, and we try to keep the mind open for new ideas. We try to apply the ideas from the newcomers, and they always have some ideas to us to try, and we have a lot of different experiments with different batches of newcomers coming. This is also a part of their newcomers experience to be, let's say, in continuous improvement since day one. So if they start learning like an installation guideline manual or something, and they find some typo, or if they find some inconsistency, they should be fixing. So that's generally their first contributions is around improving our documentation and around like fixing up very, very simple things that they fall along the goal. So let's say, oh, a library updated the dependency, and then now you have a different path to follow. So they are always updating it because they are the fresh people working on it. And I would say, like, I never get involved in an installation problem like in the last years, because always the own newcomers help themselves, because they know this culture and it comes from the previous people, that comes from the previous, and it continues working. So it's very cool. This is a topic that I brought this from I can say I steal this from GitLab. So GitLab uses this minimize feedback, negative feedback, and this is very important. Like, let's say, at least in our company, we have like a hardcore recruiting process and a screening process for guarantee that the people that join the company, they are very well aligned. So if we focus in the positive experience, we can just have much more fluid experience with them. So when we have a problem, we try to focus in action points, and we know that when people join, they are trying to give their best. They are there to just prove their value. They want to join the company, and then like we like at the boot camp, we don't want to be there to punch people or anything. We are just there to leverage the way they can work with our team and be part of it soon as they can. And when they can do their best, it will allow them to ramp up in the context of the company. So we understand that this is a safe decision, and this is also a way that we can prioritize what they need to learn. Like, instead of consider something negative, we can just say, hey, looks like we need to work more on this or that special case, and then this help them to grow and not to feel diminished by anything. And also this allow us to bring this feel of make progress, and this is the concept of like what we need to be more learning than being not successful. Like, we don't use this kind of terms. And we always remember like the first month or 3 months, I can say they looks like dog years. Like, every day is like a week because you are learning too many information. You are in a different state of your mind. So we need to respect this moment. People can act very differently, and then if we know that they have an immense flow of information, we can also know that some part of it will leave, and we can just reinforce what we need. And it does not mean that we are going to neglect anything. Like, if we have some misalignment, we are going to talk about it, and we are going to talk about it in a good sense, in a good way, using a collaborative mode, and not like a top-down case. And they are like carving their space in the company. So instead of we focus on these things, we can focus in encourage them to own something, encourage them to show their interest in the company, and this helps a lot to make it more fluid. And we know that 1 month, like in this moment, this is not a moment of judgment. Like, they are going to be working heavily when they join the teams, and we propose it as a learning moment. So that's very important that we have real examples with more consistent decisions when it happens. Okay, so let's talk about onboarding objectives. So people need to have objectives to live, and then we also put some objectives to let's say newcomers. So we create this idea of timeline. So what's expected for you in first day or first week or first month, and then with this timeline, at least the newcomer can guide themselves. Like, oh yeah, in the second week I am supposed to be contributing, learning about our CI or whatever, and this help them to understand if they are late or not. But we don't have this concept of late, because we understand that people have these checkpoints, and these will be the points that we are going to align. So with the checkpoints, we can just say who is going to talk about what, and they can also have help from people. And about customer experience, the idea of we utilize their expertise and rise the bar. So, for example, let's say, for example, I joined the company for working specifically with onboarding, and that doesn't mean that I'm not going to know how people work in Toptal, but I'm going to do this, and I'm going to learn how they work, but I'm going to follow up just to utilize my previous expertise because that's what I want to do. That's what I pursue for. So I could be a great contributor and other teams, but if I'm pursuing for something and the company has space to grow, so we can provide this as a customer experience and allow people to rise the bar of some area that we are covered. So we always try to bring this to them like, hey, if you know a way to make it better, please do. We want to improve always. So everybody wants to be better always. And that's very important to everybody. So yeah, let's jump into some practices here. So connecting key people is, sorry, let me just come back here. So here are a few of the practices, and we are going to especially talk about these key people, and we have a few examples in several of the slides. So this will be our next topic. So the procedure. So the procedure of onboarding starts before people really onboard. So we need to invite them to our tools, so we can invite them to Slack, GitHub, and all the tools we use around the code, or we use in the department, and so on. And one thing that I always say, like I go and stalk newcomers' life, like if I have time to do it for everybody, or I always want to know what they do, like online, like for example on GitHub, especially like if they have open source projects, or if they are like promoting something or contributing to something huge, or if they work in a very nice company previously, maybe we can learn about the onboarding from them. Like I always try to get it, and that's also material for me to talk with them about and to extract more of them and see how we can make this fit better. And we always build one very interesting survey, that one for each role. For example, we have one backend, domain, and interest. So for example, let's say a backend guy, how is their Ruby? They feel confident about it. How is Rails? How is about RSpec? Or let's say a Sidekick, or background jobs, or zero downtime environments and deployments, and so on. And then with this domain, we can understand what's the weakness the own newcomer score about themselves. And it can also drive us to just connect them to the right content they can learn, and they can master on the topics if necessary. The interest is like we have several cross-team collaboration initiatives, for example, performance issues, or let's say automation in several levels. So we can just see if they are interested in this. For example, I am very interested in linters, like Rubocop is one of our major linters in the Ruby ecosystem. And I have paired with like more than 10 newcomers, just like creating new pops to just automate part of our review. Let's say we get a review and we always say the same comment about the same kind of syntax, so we can automate it. So I get this kind of task, and I am part of this initiative to get our environment more easy to go. So we have everything that we want to teach. Let's say we adopt a new structure into our frameworks, and then we build a new automation for it. So I involve newcomers on this, and they take over the task. So they continue the task, and they can proceed with the topic forward. So that's very cool. I also have this one-on-one, like with them, like just to confirm the way they are going. we also have extra mentors, so multiple times they also confirm it with the mentor, so they are closer to the expertise they are going to learn during the onboarding. So the idea is, you connect key people. You can just say, hey, for example, I have several meetings that I am onboarding like engineering managers, so they are up to my level and they need to know about the team. So I know the teams, I know about what they are doing. So several times I do some overview about these key people, key projects, and what subject domains belong to what kind of people and teams. So this is very important, and it's also leverage how people can reach the right people and don't keep jumping to too many channels and so on. Encouraging goals is very important. Like if they can create their own goals, we can also try to suggest goals, and we have like a default checklist for these goals, like items they need to keep and so on. And that's very important because it will also drive their days. And here is a few examples of meetings. For example, strategic meetings, like first day every 2 weeks, I have a one-on-one with a newcomer. In the second day or second week, we can have like a code-based walkthrough just to promote a way to get them learning about it. For example, now we have it recorded. They can just watch it when they want. We can invite like a QA or a backend to do a CI overview, explain what we have into our linters, what is our configurations, what is our code style, how we deploy, how we integrate our branches, and so on. We can invite like a product manager to be just exploring the KPIs, the product scope, the OKRs, and so on. We can put like Scrum Master to show the team process and how the team plays with stakeholders and so on. And that's about it. We can also promote the exit interview, like they can share more details, what they learned, and even like good feedback for the mentors to be always improving it. Defining achievements is self-explanatory. Like we always talk about it, and as I mentioned, with this domain and interest survey, we collect these and we try to also put tasks closer to it. About the backlog, we always promote this initial exciting hands-on. I really love pair programming, and I really love this live coding thing, like that you join people and you start some ticket together and so on. And this is very cool because it starts with the backlog. Like I need to find tasks that are both interesting for me, for the newcomer, for learning. And then with promoting this, we can build our first connection. We can start together, and newcomer can feel safe about playing with the task and finishing the task for me, and so on. And then we start like introducing more complex tasks as they finish the previous, and they can get one step ahead. Avoid deadlines is quite important, because when people focus on delivery, they will probably miss to focus in what they are going to learn. So we always get very low priority tasks for them, so they can just play in a safe environment that nobody's breathing their neck to just get the task merged and so on, so they can focus on quality. Quality is very important, and we always need it. So how to onboard more people in the same time? That's about the scale. And think about these 3 items that we have. So that's very hard to just create one single process, one single way to go, when we know that we have too many variables here. So this is important, that we start trusting newcomers, and we need to give them time to shine. So that's something that we always promote, like autonomy is very important. In remote work, it's a key. Like nobody is going to micromanage you remotely. Nobody's going to take a look on what you are doing. People are result driven. You need to bring results. So you need to give autonomy for people bring the results. And we always think about content strategies. I guess I'm getting out of time. And this is very important that you can just find the ways to learn. So for example, live sessions are very cool. They were very cool for me, but for the newcomers, maybe this is a too low pace or this is too fast pace. So if they record the video, they can speed up or slow down as they want. And that's also a key thing to just to think about what's the best way to promote some content. We always have it written down, but we try to always bring other formats like live sessions for key things are more important than just record videos. And here are a few suggestions, like start with a simple week, like what they need to do in the first week, what is the expected outcome from them. And this is like self-explanatory. So I'm just going to move a bit fast, and as I have a few more slides. This is a real life stories I would like to share, like that I already shared about overwhelming newcomers. And this other idea was very cool. Newcomers can mentor newcomers. That's great. That's a mind-blowing idea. And it worked very well for some people, but suddenly not all people are teachers. So some batches of people, they like it. They like to mentor other people. Other people don't like. So don't push your rules. Just like you can explore it together. Maybe they will feel wild to do it. But that's hard to just impose it to all newcomers as they are different. And that's very cool that we have, like, for example, one idea of putting them to do small touring in the teams, and like they went to several teams and meet the teams, and that was really great. And then like that was very nice for the guy, but it was not guys for the teams, because all the teams love the guy, and all the teams want the guy after they start touring teams. And then like all teams start fighting by the guy. So we need to find just ways that it works for everybody. And it was quite a funny story. So I am just leaving the same question from the beginning, like, if you are joining our space, what will be your legacy there? I just say that I love onboarding, and more than onboarding, I make several friends around the world. So quite happy to be there doing this. So thank you very much. And if you have any question, here are my contacts.
Thank you, Jônatas. Unfortunately, we are a bit running behind schedule, so we don't have time for questions. We will post all the questions in the chat, so maybe we can answer them there. And thank you for your time. And for everyone else, please stay tuned for our next speaker.